and to add on to your theory too, and this goes back to the whole topic of why men, particularly black men, like in leadership or in a work environment. So growing up in that household, it was survival mode. Like, we didn't have the opportunity to feel. All right, man, let's jump right into it. So, LaDonna, you had a question you and I talked about yesterday, and then we've been texting back and forth about, this subject. So I want to switch the camera to you so you can go ahead and chime in here, all right?
You are funny. So my question, and I guess it's not more so of a question, it's more like my thoughts and concerns that I have of why majority of black men have a hard time being vulnerable, like going to, like, in a workspace, like with your executive leaders or in your HR department, talking about what you have going on in the workplace and what could be bothering you or whatever. Like, what is it? What needs to be created for you all to feel like that's a safe space for me to be in? Because I feel like y'all don't think y'all have that, so y'all keep it in.
Yeah. I think you got something, bro? Wait, hold on. Let me put the camera on you.
Put it on him.
So I had my review recently. And like our annual review. And
is that with a female or male?
Female.
Okay.
Female. So my leader is a female. And she told me that I need to build deeper relationships. Oh, right. And the reason, she said, and she's analyzing me or whatever, I like it. She says the reason why, she said, I think the reason why you don't build deeper relationships is not because you don't want to, but you're not vulnerable. Oh. So.
And why is that? Like, why do you feel like, I mean, that's going to be you being transparent. And I don't know if you want to be that here, but.
Yeah. I got a question before we hit on that. How do you feel, let me turn the camera on me. How do you feel about having a female leader?
I love having a female leader.
You do?
Why?
Yeah, I think I've had I've had all kind of leaders, right? But I think having a female leader, because I'm so strong or like direct, a female leader helps me balance out, like, I hate to say like unnecessary conversations, but like the emotions of everything. Because I make business decisions. I don't make emotional or like
or logical.
It's not saying that female leaders are emotional, because they're not, right? But what they have a viewpoint of how somebody is feeling
in that,
they're more in
that moment.
They're more in tune.
Because it's like, we can teach you how it can always not about what you're saying. It's all about your delivering your approach.
Right.
So let me show you how to navigate that so they don't feel some type of way about you being their executive leader. So with that, it goes back to that question for you to be more open with your direct reports. So
I asked that question because it's a lot of men out here, who struggle with women in authority. Particularly, like, think about even an election. And I'm gonna be real, I kind of struggle with some of that. And it's not a downplay on women, like in my case, more so maybe some brokenness there, maybe because my dad was in my life, but I was in a broken home, so it's mostly my mom, you know what I mean? So I think I might feel some way because I came from that, you know what I mean? And I saw the barrier that she carried, raising me, working 2 jobs, stuff like that. So with that, she didn't, I'm not saying that she didn't, but just to ask her, was there a safe space for you to be open about your feelings with your mom? So what did you do with that? No, so that's the thing. It wasn't because her carrying the burden, right? It caused her to be more emotionally heightened and sometimes intense,
on edge,
and kind of lash out. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. No disrespect to my mom or my dad.
Right.
He was young when they had me, man. 18 and 21. Like, I wouldn't know what to do with a kid at 18 and 21. But she was really intense, and I think too, when I can't speak for a woman, but I feel like when a woman is carrying all of that, there is some resentment towards a man, and then when you're raising a man, you kind of feel that, you know what I mean? So it leaves some residue feelings there, you know what I mean? And some brokenness. No, I don't think so. I'm gonna stop using trauma too. I'm gonna stop using that. Just emotions that was unattended, that I may have had or have. You feel me? So when we talk about now a female leader, some of those things kind of, come back up.
So now that we're older, how do Black men reclaim that space?
I don't know. I think we had an example. You just sent me something. Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Obama.
Yeah.
And the space that he created for young Black men or men in general to ask the question, what is the resistance there to not vote for Kamala?
Oh, yeah. Even this is from I think this is from Global News. And the headline reads, Obama criticizes Black. Why they put it like that?
But I don't know why that one is like that, because the one that I said, it was like Obama calls out Black men for hesitance with Harris.
Wow.
You're thinking about sitting out. And why is that?
I don't think, Obama criticizes Black men who aren't supporting Harris, not acceptable. I don't even think it's criticizing. See, and here's the thing, like, people like me need to see this, and I don't see it as criticizing. I see it as him being an example of what a leader truly is.
That what it looks like to open up about your feelings, about your community, man to man.
Right, man to man. Like, yo, it's okay. You know, let your guards down. And mostly we got our guards up.
Yeah.
You feel me? Again, going back to me being raised by my mom, and again, my dad was there. Not saying he wasn't. But,
That's interesting. Why do you have your guard up when you was... Yeah, just we gonna get into it.
I got a theory.
Yeah.
We play it. I got a theory.
All right, so let's get into it. Here this is my president. Barack, my president.
Okay, he mine too.
Barack Obama. Let's get into it.
Just speak some truths, if you don't mind, please. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
Please do.
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences, who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land and is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act, so everybody's got help here, and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out? But, Cousin Pookie might be.
Not Pookie.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
Let's talk about it.
And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is? Putting women down? That's not acceptable. That's not it. This shouldn't even be a question.
Wow.
It's not acceptable.
It's not
The
acceptable.
fact that he was able to just communicate that message as clearly
My bad, y'all.
as he did.
Yeah.
We talk about vulnerability, right? That's special. The way that he communicated that message, whether you agree with it or not, right? He came into like he was at some type of rally or campaign headquarters or something, and he's in a room of people that he's talking about,
Right.
So it's because how many people would be? Let's be real, right? How many people would be scared to go into a room,
Right.
of the people that you're talking about and be as direct and I got something on my chest. Y'all finna hear this.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think it was good that he did it because it's also a lot of black men do not have that male figure in the household to talk to them about those issues that he was bringing up. I agree with him. I find that a lot of men find excuses on why they don't want to vote for her because she's a woman.
Right.
And so I'm not going to vote for her, but I'm not going to vote for him. So I'll probably just sit out. And just like he said, that is you think that's a sign of strength? No. That's what a lot of black men do, even in the workplace and at home. Right. If I don't say anything, then that lets me know we ain't got to talk about it, and I'm not going to talk about it, and I'm a man about this.
Right.
So I'm going to just sit and be quiet when that's not. You opening up, that's strength.
Right. Yeah. I think you said you had not a conclusion, but you had something. Did you lose it?
No, I wrote it down.
Okay.
But before I say that, I will say also, this is why this kind of plays into the vulnerability piece too,
right?
Because it's like the trust piece of Obama's a politician,
right?
So he's supposed to say that as well.
But
he's supposed to say because his goal is to get votes. That's his goal, right? So, and I'm not saying he's wrong by any means, right? I think I agree with him probably more than I disagree, right? But it's also that's his job is to sell us on going out and voting for this person as well.
I get that it's his job, I understand that, but also the problem that we're having right now is that Black men are sitting out because it's her. Like he said, y'all wasn't feeling this way when I was running.
Right.
Y'all had the energy and ready to go vote, standing out on the street, selling shirts, doing all this. Where's that energy for her?
Right. So to your point, you are a salesman too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But would I not buy a car from you because you're a salesman?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the person.
That's what you got to move past, though. Is like, okay, is it like
it's the person you are.
Sell.
Yeah.
We sell, like right now we're selling people to listen to us right now.
Right.
Like that's just the reality. That's what it.
But the reason I will buy from you is because I know you're passionate about what you do. You see what I'm saying? That's how I feel about Barack. Like, that's why he got my vote. I think he was the first president I was ever able to get the vote. Yeah, and man, that set precedence for me. Like after that, I'm like, bro, I don't even know.
Not just playing.
Nah, I ain't saying that now, but I'm just saying, I'm like, bro, I don't even know, bro, because he set the precedence. Like he was so compassionate, he was so passionate about what he do, or whatever. But
here's my theory.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's my theory. I got a question.
Okay.
I guess in general, but more specifically, Black households, what's the divorce rate or the broken family rate, or like how many people are actually together?
I don't know.
It's probably pretty low. I'm gonna say low, but like it ain't high.
That the people are together, or not together?
Like naturally, the divorce rate is what, 50%, 51%.
Yeah.
And it's probably low. It's probably higher
in the Black community.
Our community.
Yeah, we probably the majority.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, and some of the things,
unless you're Caribbean, but anyway, go ahead. Never mind. Caribbean, they different.
Oh. Okay.
Create opportunities.
So you think about it from that perspective. When you talked about your experience,
right?
And it's kind of like that trauma or whatever you want to call it. More men were raised in single family homes,
for real,
or not just single family, single mothers, and they have some type of whatever woman in leadership issues from their childhood.
Yeah.
So I really think that's the reason why. Because I don't feel that way.
Because you had a balance.
Yeah, like my parents were together until like 5th grade, and then I probably was with my mom for like a year,
right?
And then I was with my dad,
right?
So I don't have an issue with like female leadership, but I do understand though, like some men do have a issue with female leadership, and it could be because of the household and how they grew up,
right?
So I think y'all you have a point there.
And to add on to your theory too, and this goes back to the whole topic of why men, particularly Black men, like in leadership or in a work environment. So growing up in that household, it was survival mode. Like we didn't have the opportunity to feel. We couldn't feel. You know what I mean?
So is that the reason why with some? Because like I had the conversation with the person that I'm dating, right? And I told him, I said, I see the difference between me and you. One, I can tell I was raised off love. Not saying that your mom or your dad didn't love you, but you was raised off survival. And I could see that in the way you move or whatever. But
think about this.
So you create a safe space though to talk about.
Wow, see that's gonna be a practice. It's something I don't think it's something we can jump into. I think it's something that even myself, you know what I mean? Like being vulnerable is really difficult for me. You know what I mean? But it's something I have to practice.
So what do you need? That's more of a woman perspective, and I'm looking and listening to you all, right? I'm like, what is it that you need where you're able to? What does that space look like?
Well, I think that it determines based upon the man, because different men deal with things differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too convoluted. The answer is too convoluted from a personal perspective. But from a business or leadership perspective, it's clear. Okay,
so if your executive leader is modeling that for you, how are you going to take that and model it for?
And that's the key, right? Because regardless of what trauma, what experience you've dealt with, it's your responsibility in that organization. If you're that leader, it's your responsibility to create that openness and create that safe space, that open door for people to, feel comfortable enough to
How you gonna do it if you don't know how to?
That's what I was gonna ask.
How you gonna do it if you know how to? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
if you don't know how, so that's why it always stems from.
You gotta have somebody like Obama came in and you talked about his leadership.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You have to have somebody to like open your eyes to, oh shoot, like
right.
Because like, and it's also like what is vulnerability? It's different for like you can tell somebody, I don't know, that you and your wife had an argument last night, and they wouldn't necessarily consider it as vulnerable as saying, I don't know, my kid had a football game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a different,
right.
Like depending on the person that you're leading, it varies on how vulnerable, you need to, so it's based off of like it is situational.
Right.
But as a leader, what's clear though is as a leader, you have to be that vulnerable person to be able to like, hey, you know what? I understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
This is what I experienced in my life.
Right.
That kind of relates to it. It's maybe not be the exact thing, right? But this is what, and this is how I got over that. This is how I overcame that.
Right. So I guess in that case, we're talking to leaders.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah. So black men in leadership role or a leader role. If you call yourself a leader, right? You point at him. Oh, wait, what is that?
That's what. Oh.
Like if it looked like she flicked something at you, and you just
Moving out the way.
Boogers over there.
yeah. But
okay. So if that is the case, why is it that black men do not say those type of things in the workplace? Like with female executive leaders, someone come to me, I can say like, I understand what you're going through and I can help you maneuver through that. And I've been through that before, and this is how I handle it. Where men, you're just looking for the solution for them right quick. You're not get ready. It's like, you know what? I did go through that same thing and it had me down and it had me out and I was probably depressed.
I do that.
Blah, 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 blah. In the workplace?
Yeah. Yeah, I do that.
In the workplace?
Yeah.
Really?
But I feel like I'm more in touch with my emotions. So if I'm speaking to leaders, I think it comes to being more self-aware. You feel me? Like you got to know, like if I wasn't self-aware, I couldn't tell you where all the resentment and stuff come from with, but I know it's there. And I know that when it comes up, I know how to manage it or deal with it. And I know, okay, that's a part of you, maybe the 7-8-year-old part of you that's speaking, the part that mom lashed out a little bit, you know what I mean? You cried, hey, stop crying. You too grown, old for that. Be a man, challenging your manhood. That's that little boy who's coming up, you know what I mean? But I know that about myself. If you're going to be in a leadership role, you got to have some level of self-awareness, you know what I mean? So that now you can start the process of being vulnerable.
So do you think that some men don't do it because it was never created for them?
Yeah, they don't know any better. And it's sad. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's sad. Like I'm listening to you talking, I'm like, dang. Like they don't understand, because in business we've been taught like no emotions. Like you make the best logical decision. Like that's how it's like it's about profits and losses, right? But really, business is about people.
Yeah.
If you're selling a product, or if you're you're servicing some type of customer, somebody's need. And the reality of it is, I don't think many leaders are aware that they have to be human. And here's the other side of that too, right? Story time.
Wait, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
The button.
Yeah, I gotta find. Yeah, story time. There we go.
Yeah, that's my phone. I believe in you.
Go ahead.
That's me being vulnerable. So, in all seriousness, though, right? Story time, right? I was the manager as a branch manager. I was the manager that like had a really great relationship with my team.
Right.
We had fun all the time. We joked around. We like whatever. Right.
Right.
I treated them as if they were my family.
Right.
Right. And I do that today, but. And I'm a little more guarded or whatever now because I'm gonna tell you why. I had a person on my team, and I think I told this story before. You've probably heard it. Maybe you haven't. But
So is this really story time since you already told the story?
have you heard it?
Man.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
I think I did.
Did you hear it? Mm-hmm. What'd I say?
You was talking about your coworkers.
What happened?
They did something to you that made you
Less vulnerable.
that part.
Okay.
So let's reclaim that space. Go ahead with your story.
This is why you can be vulnerable.
Oh, dang.
Brace yourself and see what they do. They just. This is why.
So
Say
there
prime
you go.
example. Prime example.
Camera. This is the camera.
So there you go.
This is why. This is why.
See, we get it somewhere. So ladies, this is why men don't want to open up because I just gave a prime example of what not
next
to
topic.
do.
Oh, nah, man. Go
Ahead with your story.
But long story short, all right, so I'll make a short story since, you know, something happened.
Uh-huh.
It didn't happen that way, but this person needed out.
All right.
And this, you know, so it made me less vulnerable because now, like, I never want to be somebody that can be taken advantage of.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
that's it.
So you lost trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
So that's where a lot of that comes from then, not trusting.
Right. I think that's
I don't think so. I don't think, well, for me, yes. But I think
I'm talking about for men.
I don't think it's trust. I just think it's culture.
yeah.
It's business culture. Like, why are you sitting here telling me about your child is sick? Like, what they got to do with you doing your job? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the culture. That's the culture.
So how are you going to fix that as an executive leader?
What you mean?
Like,
I can't fix it, but I
Like-
can be there for you.
yeah.
But most people don't, like, again, it's work and there's work and then it's personal. It's two totally different things, right? So like, but work life integration,
Oh yeah, we talked about it. I was about to say, I was about to bring it up.
like it goes together, like,
Yeah.
because you cannot treat somebody like a, you know, because it also plays a role into this as well.
What was that?
What is the history of America? What age are we in right now? What age of America?
I don't know. What?
Technology,
Oh yeah, Ted.
right?
Yeah.
What were we before?
What? And industrial?
Industrial. So it was factories, it was production, it was like, that was the culture of America. So nobody cared that your son is sick or whatever it is, right? Or, you know, you had a death in the family. Okay, you take these days off or whatever, but you come back and you gonna work.
Right.
Like nobody, like that was the culture. But now we have a different, you know.
More in touch with you. But you know what? Even then, even the man who was going to work didn't care if he was sick, didn't care because he had to survive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how I feel. And I still carry that too, man. Like, I don't care. Like, we got to make it. And I think it can be toxic in some ways, you know what I mean? Because you're dismissing the, like you say, the humanity in your case and maybe your family's case as well. So, yeah.
I hear y'all, but at the end of the day, like, women go through that, but we still are able to sit down and talk about what we're going through in the workplace. So that's why I'm like,
But y'all wired different.
You're
though.
wired that way.
Y'all wired that.
so that's my question. So what is it going to take for you to
Be wired that way?
not just be wired that way, but also just speak about what's going on, like a safe space to have a conversation, like your executive leader, when she was giving your performance evaluation, did you take what she said and just like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to do that? Or did you answer the question on why you're not like that?
I think naturally anybody wants to like fight for like why this is why I'm that way, this is why I never be that way. But it's like, do you want to get to the next level or not?
But right, but that was a time to, that was a space. She created that space for you to open up. So if you're not knowing what you need to do, then how am I going to, as your executive leader, help you maneuver that, put you on a path to that?
Right.
So then I can be like, you know what, I could send you to this training or this workshop or this conference to give you the tools and resources that you need to put towards your direct reports. So in that moment, did you speak about why you're not opening up to your direct reports?
I don't remember. Maybe I may have hit on it, but like it wasn't. My focus was on because it's not the first time you know. I think and hopefully nobody's annual review is the first time that you kind of hear that. Hopefully you're having conversations already, and I think we've had enough conversations around it already that like okay, this is what it looks like to move forward. In it, so
you looked at it more as a business move, not more so like a interesting.
Yeah. That's how
interesting.
That's how I want.
Yeah.
So how does that work in the home?
Oh,
Which part?
That part. Do you look at it like in the home? How do you?
What does my wife need? What do my kids need? I'm gonna give you that.
But do you talk about your? Do your wife have that safe space for you to talk about your things that you're going through, like how you're feeling for the day?
We already established on this podcast 3 episodes ago that women don't listen.
I didn't ask you that. See? See?
I'm just playing.
I ain't asked you that. We do listen.
Okay.
But the key to listening is a lot of people in the Black community, I feel like, and I've been, this is one of my things that I was going through trying to heal, and I figured out that I wasn't listening with my ears. I was listening more so with my triggers. And so
Dang. Explain that. What do I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean, but I would like to hear it.
It was more so like being on edge.
Yeah.
I just see you with a shotgun right now, just like.
So it wasn't.
Say something wrong.
It was. Yeah. It was. It wasn't what he said. It was how you received it, and how you received
how that made me feel in that moment was triggering. Like.
Yeah.
And I'm not listening with my ears like, oh, this person is really here for me. They care for me. It's more so, so we on the opposite team. Yeah. Okay, so that's how we rolling. You want to get down like that?
I got you.
Yup. So that's one of the keys. Like that's when you figure that out and then let your partner know like, hey, for the past couple of years or months, I've been listening with my triggers and this is what's triggering me. That's me opening up and like, hey. Can you approach me and deliver this in a different way, in a manner to where you're leading with care?
Right.
And, you know what I mean? And so I talked about that on the last pod. I was care meaning compassion, accountability, respect, and empathy.
Right.
So if I give you those tools and resources in the space, why can you still not open up to me?
See, and that's the thing, because that person is still, I'm not speaking for myself, like I still struggle with vulnerability. And in fact, what I view manhood or masculinity to be, you know what I mean? Like, because of what I was taught, not mostly directly, probably indirectly as well, is that, yo, you're going to be good, you know, suppressing how I feel versus expressing. That's why we got a journal, you know, that's why I write, you know, like, because sometimes I would feel a way, but I don't know what I'm feeling because I've suppressed what I felt so long that I don't know how to express it. You know what I mean? And then even when it's time to express it, I'm like, bro, I don't want to, it's really tough to be, you feel it right here. Like, bro, I don't want to be vulnerable. It is what it is. You know, I said what I said. So
is it easier for men to talk about it with each other? Because y'all have like the barbershop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have like the bars where y'all just go be like, this my dude.
Right.
We about to like, bro, what's going on with you? More so than having that conversation with your girl, your wife, or whoever, that female figure in your life. Just like as a kid, you said like your mom. You know, like me, I'm a single mother.
Right.
So with my son, my son, we have a different relationship.
Right.
Me and my son talk about any and everything up under the sun.
But that's
like,
your baby, though.
What you mean?
That's your baby.
All my kids are my baby.
I know. But that's your that's your.
I have that relationship with my daughters.
Right.
So
Those are your babies.
Right.
It may be different for your man.
What do you mean? No, I'm saying like with my son. When we talk about the single mother household.
Right.
Like from a very young age, I've given him that space to talk to mom about any and everything, you know,
right.
And no matter what it is, if you have, like, till this day, like, he calls me at times crying because his heart is broken.
Right.
A girl done broke his heart or whatever, or he didn't get something that he really worked hard for, so he had to try again.
Right.
So, and I'm not saying, like, I was that mother that held on to her son, like, all his life, because at a certain age, I was like, you know what? You're feeling yourself, go stay with your dad. See what that looks like. You know what I mean? See what that looks like.
Oh, man.
But then you see the difference. Because now that he's 25, you can see that loving part of him that I gave. And then you can see that other part, like when I stay with my dad, like, oh, I gotta get my roster up. Like, I can't be giving these girls my heart. But then at the same time, it's like, but I had a loving mom. Like, I want to love on her. Like, I want somebody living with me. So it all depends on the household and
I feel that.
How the environment and space was created.
Right. I stayed with my dad a little while too. Staying with him was different because he was really strict, and he's really spiritual, and, you know, stuff like that. So my experience was a little different. So I ain't got no balance there, but what I noticed though, you know, prophetically speaking, I think that this time where, you know, you see this rise in like the feminine movement and, you know, women becoming, you know, more leading and, you know, more
it's
independent.
Hard for you to say that, women leading.
No. Come on, man.
You kind of struggle with that part a little bit. Like women.
Now, let me just put this out there. I was being vulnerable. I don't want no woman to. You see what I'm saying?
See, I'm giving y'all 2 examples.
Watch, they gonna be in the comments. Oh, he don't like women. He don't.
No, he's like.
What they call them?
Chauvinistic.
Yeah, chauvinistic and all. Yeah, I'm gonna be all that. But anyway, for being vulnerable, but. I think one thing, okay, so there's cons and pros with this, right? So I think the pro is seeing a woman in leadership may not be a bad thing because now you get to see, you know, from a man perspective, how to lead and still have your emotions intact and not be so, you know, robotic and stuff, right? You know what I mean? We get to learn that. But if we're broken and we can't see that, we won't learn that. But another thing is and what I'm saying too is that a lot of women have taken on the masculinity role. Like they're becoming more hard and feminine.
And we can't be females.
Yeah. And so I think how I say this, okay, if you want a man to be vulnerable, soften up, that's the feminine side of a man. So you have to be feminine to get that. You have to be soft to get that from him. You know what I mean? But if you want to challenge a man, you be masculine. And then that's where you get the, you know what I mean? The rah-rah and the pushback and all that. So that's my answer.
So my question is this. How, what does that look like in the church?
In the church?
And the reason why I asked that is because there was a time when I was growing up, believe it or not, I was going to church almost every Sunday.
What? How do you go to church now?
I was part of the choir.
How do you go to church now?
I don't. I do BSB sometimes.
Hey, real talk. Yeah, BSI. Yeah. Hey, shoot. Never mind. Let me not say that. Go ahead.
So there was a time in my life where I felt safe going to church every Sunday, and that was because there was like an open door policy with my pastor. You know, it's like, I'm here for you. Like, I was able to walk up to him after church and have a conversation.
Right.
Now, these days, when I go to a church, I'm not even gonna say go visit a church.
Oh man,
you don't have that. Your pastors have bodyguards. Your pastor, like, it's like you got to make appointments. It's like they're celebrities. You know what I mean?
those churches you choosing.
Well, no,
It's a million churches
I
in
love
one
small
area.
church. Like, I'm just saying, right? But I'm just saying, like, that is what kind of like changed my route. Like, I don't have that personal, and he's a leader.
Yeah, but like there's other leaders in the church, so why not talk to those people?
But
like sometimes we look at the pastor as like the end all be all, the person to talk to, but
I don't look at it as the end all be all. But then if you, like you said, you have other people in the church that are leaders, but who are those people? They don't make themselves known. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
who do you go to? And you don't have that anymore. Where back then, when I was in high school, many moons ago,
Right.
you had
many.
like, you know, so here we go with this high school. We about to battle with the high school. So it's like, go talk to, you know, Pastor such and such or Deacon such and such, and you knew who they were.
Right.
But now,
think
that?
So
Go ahead, bro.
church structure has changed. Number one, I think you're right. There's a lot of bigger churches out there, a lot more. And let's be real, right? Like, there's, that when I say this person, every one single one of y'all gonna think about somebody, that person that always want to monopolize your time. They always praising or shouting out or whatever.
No, for sure.
It's just doing the most, right?
Right.
And as a pastor, and you got, let's call it 1,000 church members, I don't know. Like, you got to be able to be strategic with your time. So, but what most churches have done now is they have these like either cards or some type of like connect, like let's connect with you, right? And that's the formula to be able to get connected with, you know, somebody that can shepherd you, you know. And then the other part of it too is that, okay, let's say if it's just visiting the church, that's what altar is for. You go to altar, some church leadership or somebody's going to come to you, and they're going to say, hey, what are you here at the altar for, or something like that, right? And you'll be able to connect. Hey, I just need to talk to somebody. This is what I'm struggling with.
Man, you come to my church, you ain't got to do all that.
What you mean?
My church, you ain't got to do all that.
What you do?
Just come through the doors as you are.
Well, I'm just saying a bigger church. I'm just saying a bigger.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You choosing bigger churches. You go to a small.
But I mean, let's be real. Like a lot of. I mean, I don't know. I choose bigger churches. Like, I'm one of those big church people now because
I like her church. I like her church. They got coffee shop in this church.
See, the churches are too big for me. During that time, like when I first moved here, churches were so big that, and there's so many people that I decided to go on Wednesdays. So it's less people. Then you can see me. You know what I'm saying? Because if I go on Sunday, you don't know I'm there. You don't, you know what I'm saying? It's not like somebody going to come like, hey, LaDonna, we missed you on the Sunday. It's not gonna be any of that. So that's where they went from Sunday to Wednesday to not going at all, because it's just like, you know what I mean? But
before I became a minister, I ain't like to be seen. That's why I went to big churches. Like, I want to sit.
I'm one of them too.
Yeah,
I don't like to be. Like,
I want to sit in the back.
Yep.
I don't want to look at my neighbor. I don't want to shake nobody's hand.
Right. Turn to your neighbor and say,
I don't want to high five nobody. I just want to come, hit a word, and be closest to the nearest exit.
I gotta go.
As soon as I feel like the preacher's almost done, I'm leaving. You know, that was me. But I think it's the church you go, like my church, we only got 20 members, 25.
That's a nice size.
No, direct straight to Pastor Shaw. You know what I mean? He's available, but we have that decent sized church, you know, where we do have that family type vibe. Then you got, you know, the bigger churches, like, so I don't think vulnerability have anything to do with that. I just think it's structure. Yeah, you know what I mean? Now, essentially, we want to talk about, you know, going to church. I got a scripture here. Wait, hold on. Scripture of the week. So we're talking about vulnerability. We're talking about masculinity, femininity, all of that. Let's make man and I. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm going to read Genesis 1. I'm going to start at 26.
That's the beginning?
Yeah.
No, I know. Like, I know. No, I'm saying, like, I was just...
Wait, do I need to get you a Bible?
No, I have one. I have the part, it's like a real cute one. It's like for black women.
Oh, okay. You listen to Sarah Jakes, I bet.
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay, cool. Genesis 1, chapter, it says, and God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on earth. So God created man. You hear this? Mm-hmm. He created man in his own image, right? Mm-hmm. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them. So he created, when God talks about man, he's talking about male and female. Mm-hmm. That's the complete image of God. Mm-hmm. People, we use God, our Father, in the most masculine fashion at times, but we forget that he have feminine. You know, he's feminine as well. I brought that up to say this. I read a book called The Way of Superior Man, and it talks about pretty much the balance of being masculine and feminine. Mm-hmm. And what happened is that our men, we forgot to be in tune with our feminine, like our emotions, how we express ourselves, and we became more, I guess, masculine, you know, dismissing the femininity. That's a word, right?
Is it that y'all forgot, or was it that it wasn't taught?
It wasn't taught. It was forgotten. You know, even Adam said, "This woman you gave me," he's blamed the woman. You feel me?
Always blaming her.
You know what I mean? This woman you gave me, but he was supposed to cover her. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. We have this weird relationship with our emotions, you know, and it's not as easy to express ourselves as it is for you all. Like, my wife she can go to town.
Me too.
For real. Me too. And I'm like, yo, but when it comes to me, I'm just quiet. That argument is lost. Because I don't know what I'm saying.
That's where I struggle in my relationship. Because honestly, I can talk for hours about my feelings or whatever, and I don't know if I'm like thinking that space is created because you're quiet. So I'm thinking you're listening and you're probably tuned out. But for the most part, it's like I'm learning, and I realized about this the other day about myself, is that when I'm expressing myself, I have to watch how I say it, the approach and delivery, because it can come off as accusatory. Right. Yeah. And I'm not trying to accuse you of what I'm going, because I'm responsible for my own feeling. Yeah, you are. But it is your actions that affect those.
Yeah, that's true.
So why is it that, are you listening to us? Because y'all say we don't listen. Are y'all really listening to us in
it depends on
when we're expressing how we feel?
It depends on how you come off. Now, if you tell me you made me feel, or you made me, or you never, or you, I'm tuned out automatically.
Never, always,
always. And is that why y'all always feel like when we express feelings, it's, here go an argument?
That's what it is. Because you're not holding your feelings. You're not taking responsibility for how you feel.
Accountability, for sure.
Yeah, it's accountability. It's how you feel.
So instead of saying, you never spend time with me, I should say, I love when we spend time together. I would like to see more of that if possible.
Or simple, because I learned this in therapy, just tools. Or, I really miss you. Man, when LaTanya said that to me, I was like, yeah, that feels good.
What that mean?
Like when she said versus saying you're never at home, when you never spend time, you say, hey, I really miss you, and I feel, I feel
that's vulnerability.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Even it's y'all say y'all can express yourselves, but what is vulnerability actually? Are you really being vulnerable, or are you shifting the blame on your counterpart? or your loved
Are
one.
you shifting the blame on why you're triggered? Because the fear of abandonment.
Yeah.
Fear of.
First saying, I miss you. Like, I miss you. Like, I'm stressed because I miss you, and I really want to spend time with you. But you're not here. You know what I mean? Like, you talking about creating a space for vulnerability? Yo, you get anything you want from me. You feel me? But if you come to me like, you ain't never doing this, you always do this, and I'm like, bruh, okay.
Well, that's where the growth comes in it, because like, just by, like, again, being able to communicate, just by knowing that, oh, I'm gonna use that. You know, again, we sell, right? Like, I'm gonna sell you on that,
right,
all day long.
Yeah.
And how do we as women do that?
Again, you just have to rephrase. Like, you have to understand that it is your feelings and that you're responsible. And, you know, once you come to that conclusion, you just verbalize that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what is the little time you say this? My therapist, if y'all don't know, I told her she need to come on the show because I talk about her so much. But verbalize that. Like, what is it you're asking for? You know, you never, okay, Micah, you never wash dishes, right? First of all, I do wash dishes. But what is he really trying to say? Yeah, I'm really overwhelmed. Can you help me? You know what I mean? Like, that is better than saying you never.
So as leaders of the household, why isn't men modeling that for women to be able to follow your lead?
Because y'all the emotion.
No, that's not what I asked.
Who's it most important to?
Huh?
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
No,
I like that. I like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Who's it most important to?
It should be important to both of us.
Yes, I agree. I agree. But
It should.
Who is it most important to?
For me to express myself, it's important to me to be able to have that space. But in order for me to give that and not know how to give it,
Right.
then
So,
shouldn't you also model it as well?
Your makeup looks beautiful, right?
Are you for real?
Yeah, looks
I
great.
tried today.
It looks great, right?
Thank you.
Did it start that way when you started putting makeup on for the first time?
I see where you're going. It was learning.
So you have to be able to try different things and different tactics and different phrasing for it to get to.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if I
It goes
see,
both ways.
right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways.
That it do because she's not only responsible for doing it, I am too. You know what I mean? Like, but my problem is sometimes I don't know what I'm saying or what I'm wanting. That's why I journal. You know, like, I need to know Tone, what are you actually asking for, man? You know what I mean?
And it kind of goes back to kind of, I know, and we kind of feel like we got a little straight away, but kind of bringing it all back together, right? Because we're talking about leaders and vulnerability, and now we're talking about the household, right? So who's responsible? Whose responsibility is it? Whose primary responsibility is it to create that openness? It's the leader's responsibility. Who's the primary leader in the household? It's the man.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I always think, like, in my head, right? Like, so I'm really setting it up right now. Like, success. Just
Because
if she'd have waited 20 more seconds, we would have got this really dynamic point I was about to make.
Go ahead, man. Make the point.
Right.
That's
Make it.
still
We here. Go ahead, man.
ahead.
Before you lose it, go ahead.
So I will lose.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So
Y'all the primary leaders.
Yes, the primary leader in the household. So if we break up, and if we get divorced or whatever, if it don't work out, guess whose fault it is?
Whose?
It's the man's fault.
No, not all the time.
Because it's the man's primary responsibility.
Let's go back.
To
Hold
create
on.
the openness, the vulnerability in the relationship.
I'm sorry, because I think
That's my viewpoint.
So God created man in his own image, the image of God. He created him, male and female. He created them. So when you referring to man, who you referring to?
Y'all think God get jail polish? He probably get jail polish, wouldn't he?
He made it. What you mean? He created it. Why wouldn't he?
Polish.
He created it. Why wouldn't he?
You know, I just imagine, like, like when you said the trip drinking.
Nah, but I mean, look at
relaxing and like at a spa, getting like a little, this feminine side.
Yeah.
Anyway,
here's who you think created the woman.
I'm just saying.
Well, I have to disagree with you.
All right.
Because I feel like, and I talked about this before on another podcast, that I'm going to be the female that doesn't always agree with females, because sometimes I'm on the male side. I think sometimes when relationships do not work out, I feel like women need to start taking accountability for their actions that they play into that, instead of placing the blame, because that's what you're used to, because that's what a trigger, right?
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I saw growing up. It was always him. And if I don't get what I need, it's because of him. You're not getting what you need because of you.
Yeah, I'm tripping. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, but hold on.
Everything I said, she's right.
Wait. That is true, but perception is gonna be our fault. Perception.
It has to be both, and that's a very mature way of looking at it. By the way, so like that's not like a typical like a relationship, like you were talking like this, whatever this is. That's two people that's trying to go,
right.
That's trying to make it work.
The person I'm with now, we're not together. We're starting over, like dating each other to relearn everything.
Right.
But we're not together because of who? LaDonna. Why? Because LaDonna wasn't listening. LaDonna was always cutting him off when he was talking. Like he told me all those things, and so I had to take a step back and look at myself, and I'm like, this is what I'm doing.
But if you felt heard, would you feel the need to continue to lash out?
I felt like I was heard. I just wasn't listening to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't.
Well, let me say this, bro. Do that happen in your marriage?
Accountability?
What she was saying, do that happen in your marriage?
Oh, yeah, 1,000.
And that happened in my marriage. What I'm saying is, ain't nobody gonna be perfect. When you committed, you committed.
Right.
I'm just putting it out there.
I have tunnel vision.
Okay.
But so when I know that I messed up and I had to take a look at myself, I had to fix it. I had to come back and say, you know what?
But it ain't gonna be perfect.
I know I'm not.
And you're gonna slip up a few times.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Of course, I slip up all the time. Like my mouth is terrible when I'm talking. When I don't get my way, because I grew up the only child.
Right.
And if you're coming back at me.
Right.
Instead of, because what I'm used to in my household is my dad. I saw a man sit down, the women in the house, like my mom or me, talk to me about what is going on and what I can do better.
Right.
If you're not talking to me in that tone, you're going to get my mama side of me.
Okay.
That's not good.
Okay. That guy needs suck. He did the Caribbean smack.
No, it's not good. But you got to just model what you want.
Okay. So let's go back to working environment, because we uncovered a lot here, and we're going into an hour here.
Are we?
Yeah, we are. We talk, man. When you come on the pod, you just add an extra hour and 40 minutes to the pod, by the way.
Me? Mm-hmm. Oh, that mean I talk too much.
No, they say women talk. Women talk. What is it? Women speak certain amount of words more than men, or something like that.
I believe that.
Yeah, look at the research.
What?
Nah, you open us up. You open us up for vulnerability. We'll appreciate it.
So if we're going back to leadership in the workplace, well, let's talk about that leadership when it came to the Falcons. Let's talk about that leadership.
Winning right now, man. I know the record and.
We appreciate you, LaDonna, for all your hard work. Like when she got there, they got a new coach. I don't know what she said, but when she got there, they got a new coach. They got new quarterbacks. I don't know what she said to the folks, man. But we appreciate you though. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. You're welcome. I'll try.
What'd you say, bro?
Hey, they say I don't know, it's totally off subject. Did Arthur Blank really induct himself into the Hall of his Ring of Fame or whatever? Or was that like a staff member's like, hey, let's do this for Arthur?
Well, the Ring of Honors I found out I thought it was just a Falcon thing, but I found out during my research it's an NFL thing.
Oh.
So you can induct whoever it's like all on your votes and what you contribute and everything else. The majority of people that are in the Ring of Honor are like everybody that made like a big contribution to the Falcons, not monetary, but just in general. Like we just put Matt Ryan.
Right.
I saw that.
One game, I think it was the Saints game, where they showed all the people like Deion Sanders, all of them. The one thing I was upset about, and it was just me, is because it was Mike Vick wasn't.
They didn't do Vick?
That's crazy.
Bruh, you ain't the only one mad.
And I think it may come later, but I just think that a lot of people do a lot of things in the NFL, but I think that he's very deserving.
He is.
What he
got in trouble at a spot where, in history, where it's almost like the cancel culture.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
Diddy.
And I said Diddy. You didn't hear me.
Not about Diddy. No.
Go ahead.
But it's like he did something bad that he shouldn't have done. People, I ain't gonna say they overreacted. They reacted. He served his time. He did it. He served it, whatever. Keep moving.
I think this gonna be a whole different another conversation, because I'm looking at Brett, what he did.
Yeah.
And wasn't nothing taken away from him. Period.
Talking about leadership
and vulnerability. And
he tried to be that on in front of the, you know what I'm saying? Oh, feel sorry for me because I have this thing. Right. But that had nothing to do with you stealing money.
Right. Why would you bring that up right then?
Wow.
And he took money from what community?
That's
But we ain't gonna talk about that.
But he, you know, that's the double standard. But that's America. That's my point. That's exactly my point.
So why we can't be vulnerable in corporate America? Because of that.
Because these folks don't kill.
Because
they don't really kill.
That goes to what I was reading. Like black men, black women don't trust corporations to be able to talk because they feel like their concerns are not going to be heard.
But you want to know something though? Even with this conversation, when I'm gathering, is that once we learn to be there for one another, black men and black women, bro,
that's another conversation,
bro. Immaculate.
Why is that?
But I'm saying if we can,
I feel like that's like I ain't gonna say not necessarily just black people, but that's my journey. Is like I want everybody to get what they deserve.
Look at that leader.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I feel like everybody should be able to.
Yeah.
What's that mean? What that mean? Hold on.
What's that? Yeah.
His people might be watching, so we.
Yes, that is the thing to say, like Obama. Like that's what you gotta say. I want everybody to achieve. I want everybody. That's why I'm here. Exactly. You selling that to us? You want us to believe that?
You believed it.
No, I didn't.
It's true though. It's true.
I'm just kidding. But
you have to say that, right?
It's true.
Because look at your position.
90% of my team is black. So I don't have to say that. I can say like it's.
But nah, I know, man. That's truly who he is. Like, even on his pod, man.
If you're the third, you gotta be.
Yeah,
gotta come with that leadership, baby, for real.
And don't forget the 3.
Don't forget the 3. So leadership, and so what we're learning is that to create opportunity for vulnerability first, as a leader, you have to be vulnerable yourself. Which starts with some type of self-awareness, right? I will say number 2 would be what? How you communicate your vulnerability.
Yep. Communicate effectively.
Communicate effectively.
And listening.
Right?
With your ears and not your triggers.
Okay.
That's a bar right there.
Oh, yeah. Say that again.
Okay. You should have been listening. See, there you go.
I wanted to hit bars. We'll just do that then. Okay.
No, it's most people.
No, guys, you know what you should do?
What?
What's that?
You should listen with your ears and not your triggers. Bars. That's how you steal it.
Yeah, he said it. Okay.
Steal it.
Yeah. It's his. See, he prepared me for it. So
he prepared you.
So number 3 is what.
Why is that? See, that's what I'm talking about. There we go. Y'all prepare each other for everything, but you won't prepare for the female. Okay.
So number 3 is what we got for number 3. Since we coming up with
What was number one?
I say you gotta, as a leader, you have to be vulnerable yourself.
Yeah.
And it starts with some type of self-awareness. And number two is communicate. How to communicate your vulnerability. And like LaDonna said, communication goes both ways. Not only talking, but listening and hearing the person, not through your trauma, right? And number three will be what? Somebody got it.
I don't know. I think for me is to not perceive everything when you're coming to your mate or whoever that there's going to be a lack of support. Going there with like being positive.
Right.
What they call it? Not ill intentions. What is it called? Like not
lack
prejudice,
of support.
But
lack of support.
So you saying having
thoughts, like your thoughts kind of like you almost kind of talk yourself out of supporting it, or you kind of talk kind of like preconceived notions.
Yeah.
How you feel like the conversation gonna go.
Already have it made up in your mind, like if I say this, he's gonna say this, so you are already on guard.
Right. Let your guards down. So number three is let your guards down.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I say number four would be, I thought about something when I looked at you because it's something you said. I lost it, but anyway, yeah. So number one, you have to be self-aware. You know, vulnerability start with yourself. Number two, you have to learn how to communicate
Effectively.
Then not just talking, but listening, right?
And not with your triggers.
Bars. Number three is having your guards down. You know, when you come and talk to whoever in corporate or whatever. And number four would be, here we go.
There we go.
We're all on the same team.
Yes.
We're all on the same team.
Yes.
We're all on the same team, same goals.
Yep.
How y'all feel about that?
Partnership.
Yep.
Cool. Well, y'all be sure to get that What Am I Doing Right journal.
And for the single ladies, if you do that, then that's the way like how sports go. If we work as a team, then you go ahead and you get in that ring, right?
Yeah. That ring. Get that ring.
That's what we should.
Towards?
No.
Oh. Well, hey.
that quick too.
Well, go. Make sure y'all get that. What am I doing right?
I want to be like Drake.
What?
I'm going to wear the pinky ring till I get that wedding ring.
Oh, man.
Oh, he just in the
Or like, what's the name?
And nonstop.
Huh?
Pick your ring till I get away.
You don't say a lyric.
Yeah, I got a lyric though.
What you got, man?
Lyric of the week.
Wait
for it.
Let's talk about it.
That was the wrong one.
I like that one. Let's talk about it.
But hold on.
That's what you should have played when Obama said when he said, let's talk about it.
Go ahead, bro.
Lyric of the week comes from Don Tripp, and he says, "Excuses won't help, and complaining won't solve it. So the studio then became my office."
And that's where the women cry.
That's where you got to talk. You got to be able to talk through things, be able to communicate things, because at the end of the day, nobody cares about you complaining. Nobody cares about your excuses. What are you going to do to be able to get that out, to be able to be vulnerable and get the success that you need to get?
And what are excuses?
Isn't that the opposite of being vulnerable?
What are excuses?
Excuses are the tool of the incompetent.
There we go.
That is longer though.
Well, we just want that short.
All right,
man. Make sure y'all. I'm going back. Make sure y'all get that. What am I doing right journal? Where's the journal? You got the.
What
journal.
am I doing right?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Bad. What am I doing right? Yeah. What am I doing right? What am I doing? WRITE. It's a wholeness journal. Get that from Amazon ASAP. Also, like, share, subscribe. We like having LaDonna on, man. Yeah, we like having LaDonna on.
I like having LaDonna on.
Yeah, man. L Boogie, man. You know what I mean? We like having LaDonna on. Like, share, subscribe. Oh, here's the journal there. There you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
That's real nice. It's better than this handy dandy notebook. Right?
I don't want to mess up my journal.
Please don't write in that.
Just like
do not write in this, please. Just take a picture, print it, and just paste it in there.
Well, we are out of here.
Can you read this?
No.
We are out of here.
Told somebody need to head up, 'cause you concerned about them. Stick and move, we can get it done. Call it unity, it ain't no way around it. Cultivating, we get motivation from the big guy. We don't play about them. Going hard for the game, showing.